how we used to be. Everybody searching for a hero. People need someone to look up to. I never found anyone to fulfill my need. A lonely place to be. But I learned to depend on me.
I started living on the street in 1996. Yeah. That's when my family pushed me away and to tell me that I should leave the house and they will kick me out of the family because of my gender. And since my mother passed away, and I had no actually relatives who would give me love, so I started to find love on the street and people that really makes me happy each and every day, not only for a moment, but each and every day.
I've been on the street for 17 years.
And where are you now?
At the moment, I'm living in a shelter in Woodstock. The shelter is called St. Anne's for homeless mothers and children.
The universe is happening right here, right now, at this moment.
Now we're on our way to Pumlani. It's a township just outside of Cape Town. In Pumlani lives about 325 families in an informal settlement. Yeah, it's a fairly new township. I think it's just over 10 years old, the township. But many people was moved there because of, unemployment, have nowhere to live. People lost their homes. And as you may know, during the apartheid times, our people were moved from one place to the other and all that. And the unemployment rate is very, very high in Cape Town still, in South Africa. So people live in this informal settlement. It's a wood and iron homes that they live in. There's just one water tap for all these families. There's no toilets, except for the tap, there's no running water. We've got about between 60 and 80 kids running around there. Some of them go to school, others don't. Because here with us, we still pay school fees and you got to pay for your own stationery and you got to have school uniform and all that. Makes it a bit difficult. The cups for the juice. Catherine, maybe you must take this. The clothing. This is Catherine. Yeah, Catherine is one of the community leaders here. She oversees all the activities down here, and we work together. Yeah, yeah, with the soup kitchen and the feeding, all. Yeah, and Catherine is also going to assist us with the kindergarten once we have that going. Yeah, so it will be the people from the community that's gonna do the crash. Yeah, are we gonna take the stuff to Cynthia's house? Yeah, okay. 3 times a week I'm here in Pumlani. we do feeding there. That normally starts around 4 o'clock and goes up till about 7 in the evening, you know. So yeah, my day is never, I can't really predict my day. You've got a nice smile, ne? Look here, look there into the camera. And you got a smile too. Smile, smile, smile. Smile like that, man. Yeah. So when are you going to the office again? You tomorrow?
Yes, tomorrow, Pastor. Tomorrow.
Okay.
Tomorrow.
Yeah, I will make time to come and talk to you about that place.
That place.
You know, yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Although we are a registered non-profit organization, registered with the Department of Social Development, we don't get any funding from the government. You know, and everything that you see me doing, I'm doing just, like I said, by faith and donations that people give me, you know, or rather give into the organization. And because we are registered, you know, the government check our books every year. So yeah, it's a legitimate organization. And I have the certificates I will show you a little bit later. But we have to raise our own funds. Whatever we do, we have to do on our own. This is the one. Yeah? You want me this one? No. No, you keep that one for you. You eat already on that one and you eat on that one. Now you want to give it to me. No. It's nice, you must eat it. It's gonna make you strong. Fruit make you strong.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Carmen. Happy birthday to you. God bless you today. God bless you today. God bless you and keep you. Happy birthday to you.
Wow. I'm in the city for just over 10 years now, and I've seen so many organizations coming into the city, making big promises to the people, and then nothing materializes. You know, and our people has had such a lot of disappointments already, and they already feel like nobody really care for them. You know, so we don't need another empty promise.
What we do here, we stay here, we sleep together as a group, so we are responsible for each and everyone's responsibilities around here. So we look after each other. When someone got a problem, we sit like in a group and give each other advice and talk the problem out like in a group. So there's like more or less trouble around where we based.
Some people just make money out of the street kids. Some people, they come, they do things with us. When they get the sponsors, then they leave us on the street. Like some people use us to get money, sponsors and things like that. And then they go, you see, they promise things to us. Maybe they're gonna take you out the street or buy clothes or something, buy food, and then they don't come back and things like that, you see.
At the moment, my health is not doing that good, especially in the environment where I'm based, because we're not living healthy. They don't give you proper food. We should get more decent medication.
My name is Puze, and I'm originally from upcountry, born in the Western Cape, and the reason I'm more than 18 years on the streets now, and the reason why I left the home is because my family couldn't accept the fact that I'm gay, you know, I'm born that way, and I've been trying to live a better life, you know, and I converted myself, gave my life over to Jesus and asked him to help me, but it just lasts for a certain time. Then I went back to what I feel inside, and I love my life the way I want to do it. So I decided, no, I must leave my family and live on the street, because then I'm more independent. I don't want to be a problem for my family at home, you see. And I met up with my friends, like I met up with Kurt and other people, and as he said, we're sleeping together and we look after one another and just see that nothing went wrong, and that's it.
My social worker came there and she came to call me and she tell me, Diego, your mother died 2 weeks ago. And the people they didn't want to tell you, because we go around to your mother's family and to the friends. They take me to my mother's graveyard, and I was staying there all the time. Then I came back to the street, and I went to jail for 3 months and for 3 weeks. After 3 months and 3 weeks, and I came straight out, and I said to myself, I'm not gonna live on the street anymore, because now I want to be a better person. I don't want to go every day to jail, go in and out, in and out. And after that, I said to myself, it's not gonna help if I'm gonna run away every time. Then I'm gonna come nothing in life, so I must stay there if I want to become something in the world. And I'll go back there, and I'll tell them, I want to stay there and I'm not gonna run away again.
When you first met Pastor John, were you very ill?
I wasn't ill when I first met him, but as the years goes, I started to get very ill. And I didn't know who to go to, because the other organizations just dropped and they never took care of the people who are sick. So I thought of coming to Pastor John, because I know he's a very kind person.
I'm going to take 3 of this. This I'm taking for the soup kitchen, huh? Okay.
And he's a very good person. He looks out for the young children on the street. So I just come to him and told him, Pastor, I can't handle it living on the street, because I don't want to die outside. Can you please help me in a shelter to get hospital so I can get my treatment?
A traditional healer of the road, who konqothwane matota. A traditional healer of the road, who konqothwane.
This is a troubled area. This is a terrible area. If you want to contract HIV, you come and have sexual relations here and you'll contract HIV. By tonight, you will have contracted the disease. I promise you. This is where, if you really need to come to South Africa, this is where you need to work. Set up some shack and then work from here.
I've been working through nights now. Never saw living across the road. A traditional hero of the road.
I work for an organization called the AIDS Trust. We an organization, we started off as a project that worked with parents, with adults, living with HIV and AIDS. But our focus has changed because we're now working with children and orphans that we work with now, because we found that the parents became so weak and so sick that they could not look after their children. So the AIDS Trust shifts focus every 3 years. Like We would do in 3 years, we would work with adults, and we would then go to children, then we would go to job creation, because we wanted to do the whole scope of things. So at the moment, our main focus is children living with HIV and AIDS. It's difficult for me to drop food, go to this house, go to that house, go to this. It will take me a lifetime. So I just drop it here and then I leave it to those people to distribute. So don't give the impression that I don't do work in the area. I bring food regularly, once a week. I bring it into this area. No, not OC alone. I'm sure OC distributes, but we can only give that much and to so many people. So that's the difficulty I have. I cannot go from house to house to distribute food.
Last year, you know for yourself, OC. Was it last year, yes? That we all around here, every week, once we were all around here. Like fools, we were sitting here like fools. I'm just talking the truth now. We were sitting here like fools. Every week we had to run here, sit here, leave the work like that at home. We're waiting for Ma. We're waiting for Ma. Now for who are we going to wait again here? No.
Right, we found that when we were distributing wheat picks to the very vulnerable, to the poor in the area, right? I did not know who's coming from where, right? Somebody would come up and ask me for wheat picks and I would give them a box. I usually give four boxes. That's week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4. So for the whole month you have enough wheat picks, right? But then 5 people come from one house. And I only learned it later. So it was all on this one side. Somebody got 9 boxes of wheat picks and somebody else got none. So what could I do? Because I didn't know who's who. The vegetables that we were distributing, as Desmond, you were working with me, eh?
Yeah, we were distributing for the people. Some of the people, they take the wheat picks, they go sell it for wine. They sell it for wine and I don't think it's right they're doing. I was yapping this man every day, most of the time of my life I'm yapping that guy. Sometimes I go to the Kian Center, I go to the hawkers, they tell me, hey, there's a lot of vegetables, take it home, give to the people. But yeah, I can't do it, but my legs can't carry me anymore because I have to walk with the wagon up and down, up and down. Okay. And I can't do it anymore.
So with the vegetable thing, we still have access to a lot of vegetables that we can get from the market. The difficulty I had with the vegetables again is we would give vegetables, there would be a long line, we would just give it and give and give and give and give and give, and 2 people come back and say, listen, I didn't get any vegetables and it's a whole fight. I'm not into that. I want to drop it somewhere and go because I have other work to do. That was the difficulty. The yogurt was the same. Yogurt we didn't get that much because yogurt was a luxury and it is still a luxury item. The difficulty I had with the yogurt was I was specifically going to distribute yogurt to children, right? What now happens with the yogurt is everybody wants yogurt. You have 200 yogurts, you give 200, there's 800 people, and that has become a problem to me. To distribute food is not that easy. To get food is very easy, but to let go of that food is not that easy. So if I disappointed you once or twice, that's now a hold to my record to say I'm a bad person. I'm not. I had several problems. As Desmond, we knew of people selling the wheat picks that we were giving. Right, we were giving you that the milk was exchanged for other items that was never meant to be, and that caused a problem to me. Every 3 months I would bring in about 2 million rands, but because I have a lot of other activities, like now, it takes me out of an office, it takes me in the streets, in homes, talking to people. Yesterday we had to take somebody to hospital. So if I'm a fundraiser, raising funds only, I will raise millions of rands.
Tula tula papa tula sana tula mamu zobuya ekuseni.
I found out when I was pregnant with my baby. At first I was struggling with it.
And what was
I
your diagnosis?
I was HIV positive. Sometimes it's still very hard.
It's okay. I understand. It's really hard. So how long have you known Michelle?
Almost 2 years now.
2 years. Okay. And do you have much support?
Sometimes yes, but sometimes, like last week, I couldn't help myself. My children was without food.
So you didn't have any food, and you have 2 children.
Yes, one is going to high school now. The other one is 2 years now.
And do you have a partner?
No.
And do you have parents who live nearby?
I stay by my mother. But how can I say, she also has her problems, and sometimes she tries to help me, but sometimes she doesn't have, so.
And does she have work?
Yes, she works.
And do you have other brothers and sisters?
Yes, but they all the same.
In South Africa, HIV and AIDS is still very much like a very private taboo matter that you don't.
Taboo.
Yes, you don't openly talk about it, and that's driving this whole campaign that we have underground. But then there's reasons for it. I think it starts with government. You know, our present president, Mr. Mbeki, has made some very weird statements. He said, show me a person that died of HIV and AIDS. Now, that is the president of the country. The man taking over from him said after having sexual intercourse with the HIV, unprotected sex with the HIV positive lady, he said, I just went into the shower to wash it all off. Now, if the leaders of our country are that biased, what do you expect from the people of that country?
Do you still take the medication?
Yes. Sometimes I can't take it because I can't take the medicine without food. Like I was supposed to be there last week, but I couldn't stand up because I couldn't walk.
So you couldn't go to the doctor? Is it a clinic you go to?
It's a clinic, yes.
Yeah. And how often are you supposed to go?
Every month.
Yeah.
They give me medicine.
And you don't always get there?
Mm-mm.
Oh. And how do you feel health-wise, apart from not having enough food and drink?
So it's like sometimes it's fine and sometimes it's when I stress a lot. And
Heart of Healing is an NGO We specialize in venture philanthropy. Just like in business, you get venture capitalists who create business opportunities for profit. We create social opportunities for social gain. And it's really based on the premise that as long as the donors keep giving to the charities handouts, the charities will never get themselves to a position of being sustainable. And what we do is we look for sustainable solutions where we can go in and help charities on an indefinite basis. And that's pretty much what we do.
The children's home, we have 130 children at the moment. The kids are from naught, so they can come in 1 day old from the hospitals or from being abandoned, and they go all the way up to 19 years old, 18, 19 years old.
There's the famous hole in the wall in Johannesburg where they figured out the easiest way now is just to build a hole in the wall, and the ladies can go and stick their baby through a hole in the wall and then go, and then they ring the bell, and then they go out and there's another baby, and this happens on a constant basis. So there are a lot of plans, there are a lot of strategies, but it still doesn't help at grassroots level.
You're all sleepy. Look at you. You're all half asleep. So these are babies. These are caregivers. This is Gugu.
Hi, Gugu.
Hi.
Good work, Gugu.
This is Lanika. She's new here today. We have a program of volunteers who come between 6 weeks and 3 months, actually, from all over Europe and America. They come and help in here, and they're usually on gap years or post-university and that type of thing. So they come in here and help the caregivers with the babies and everything. Yay!
Papa Million in many ways kind of shows you the growth of the disease, because it's gone from a shack really in 4 years to being this street full of homes for these kiddies, and more and more and more of these shacks are springing up all the time. We get phone calls every 2 weeks by somebody who said, hey guys, you've got to help us out. We went out, we found this facility, this woman is distraught, there's more and more babies arriving all the time, she doesn't even know that she doesn't know, and then we've got to get out there and start the process of helping them.
Come on, baby. Come on. The kids come from a real variety of backgrounds. This is a place of safety. It's a designated place of safety, which means that if the kids are found late at night or that type of thing, the police can bring them in and we'll look after them. Otherwise, they come here through court orders, through the children's court. And we have the social workers working both within here, so we have a residential social worker, and the external social workers work together to place the children here and to reunite them with families where appropriate. So the mission is always to reunite with an appropriate family member, and that can be, it's often an aunt or a grandmother. Unfortunately, the mothers and the fathers are often not around. The children are here for a real variety of reasons, as I said. It can be because of the mother being sick and can no longer care for them, or that the father is out of a job and lives in a shack and is also not able to care. Sometimes it's neglect, sometimes it's abuse. So they're all here for different reasons. They're out of school now, so they're busy playing.
The tragedy is for those that can't fend for themselves. As you know, we've got 2 million AIDS orphans, and what about who's going to look after them? It's not just a question of feeding them, and it's not just a question of clothing them. It's a question of loving them. It's a question of integrating them into normal society. So there's just this massive uncontrolled experiment that's happening in our country right now, where there's so many millions of people that are infected by this disease, and so many millions more that are going to experience the consequences of the disease, i.e. the orphans. And who will they be when they're 14, 15 years of age? How well adjusted will they be? We don't know the answers to this, but we just have to do our best. We've got indirect links right now into 42 different organizations spread across the country, but we help many more that come to us for a variety of different things, whether it's financial planning or business planning or marketing or fundraising or organizational development. We've got a whole range of different products that we use to try to mobilize these NGOs.
We're going in?
Yes, you can go in, no problem. The dog won't bite.
Won't bite me, eh?
Yes.
Hello,
some of them are living with HIV and AIDS. Some of them are orphans, and some of them they come for just for the day. Yes, just for the day care. Hi, my name is Noma Wetun. We started to run this project from 2005. So we've got a year and a half now running this project.
And what's the project called?
Inchakyambo. Inchakyambo, yes. We started with 40 children. Now we've got 60 children this year.
60 children?
Yes, some of them are HIV, some of them got TBS. Now we are still going outside for the funds, asking for the funds in the streets. As we are working, we don't get salaries, so we are working free. So now we want a building and a salaries as well.
All the projects that we set up are geared towards being sustainable. We do our best to make them profitable as fast as what we possibly can, and then the profits we reinvest back into the space. So it's a link between the donors and the charities, where in the past donors would just give money to the charity and the charity would use it and then go back to the donor and say we need more, and then that cycle would continue. But now we're slowly but surely persuading donors to instead invest into what we call social enterprises, businesses that make money for the NGO sector.
We started collecting the children from the street because we as I am the citizen of this place, I did see the children were suffering because some of them they are HIV, some their parents hate them. So I started to see what's happening. Then we started to do the project, collect the children from the street and from the houses door to door.
So the catch-22 is that you have these homes, whether the government likes it or not. As Norma Weta said, she saw the kids on the street. They're HIV positive, the parents abandon them. There's a stigma, then the parents die. So there are these homes, and they do need to go for antiretroviral. So you've got this very rudimentary grassroots system of putting 40 children in a shack, walking them miles to get a clinic every 2 days to get their antiretrovirals, and then coming back, and on the top of that having the system trying to put them down. But there's nowhere for those kids to go. There's just nowhere for them to go. And it's an almighty challenge. It's an almighty challenge. And it's not an isolated case.
The word actually means progress. And Bapomlele is this whole organization here, which started as a children's home and orphanage. But now this particular section is for adults who suffer with AIDS and TB.
Okay, my name is Amanda.
Hi, Amanda. Hi. How are you feeling? Are you getting better?
Yes, I'm getting better.
Oh, I'm so glad.
I'm feeling well.
It's a stepping down facility, so people who've been into hospital and are almost ready to go home come here for about 4 to 6 weeks to get used to their medication. They're all on antiretroviral medication. Most of them are on TB medication, and so they're here so that they get regular medication, get used to taking the medication, good food, rest, sometimes go home for the weekend, and then after 4 to 6 weeks they go home, hopefully stronger than they came and ready to get back to a normal life. I mean, that's the aim of the house.
How long have you been here?
I've been here, I can say it's almost a month now.
A month?
Yes.
Okay. And do you live in Kalicha?
Me, I'm staying in Milanton, but at the moment I'm here in Kaileta.
Okay.
And it's nice to be here. We're eating healthy food. And we go wash with warm water. Sometimes we sit outside. And when it's your appointment, you must go to the clinic. They take you to the clinic. There's transport here. They take you to the clinic. If you are not feeling well, the sister and the nurses, they are here for you. And they help you. If you have a family problem, they are also there for you. If you don't have nothing, they are there for you. They're giving you clothes, some food, and they help you. So this place is a good place. I like this place. Fantastic. Because it's helped us a lot, you know. We are learning a lot of things, you see. And you know, when we go out here, we will also teach the people there outside. See, I feel at home here. I don't say I'm in the hospital. I just say I'm at home. Because we are all familiar. We are all familiar.
And what about the poverty? Is that a big problem?
Yes, yes, because again we say they should eat healthily. You know, like Amanda said, you know, we eat healthily here, but when they go back home, you know, sometimes they go home to a shack, and it's very difficult if you're in a shack to cook, you know, cook proper food and to have fruit, and also quite often people don't have jobs to go back to, so they haven't got much money, so it's difficult then to get proper food.
Tula tula papa tula sana tuluma muzobuya ekuseni.
Sometimes I feel so helpless, can't help myself. Like last week, I called my mother to come and wash me because I can't wash myself.
Were you feeling weak?
Yes, really weak. I couldn't stand up. My baby wanted to be by me, I can't handle him. At that stage,
That's very hard. And do you feel better this week?
Yes, this week I'm much better.
Is it up and down?
Up and down.
Yeah. So you definitely need good nutrition. It's a big priority. Do you think it's possible there may be other people that you know that have the same condition but they don't say?
That I know of.
So really, if you could have some wishes granted, what would you be asking for?
Just for a better life. For my children. That's my first priority.
And in what ways better?
Like, gonna say, better future for them. For me, baby, I don't know how long I'm gonna last, so I just want the best for them.
Tula tula papa tula sana tuluma muzobuya ekuseni. Tula tula papa tula sana tuluma muzobuya ekuseni. Tula papa tula sana tuluma muzobuya ekuseni. Tula papa tula sana tuluma muzobuya ekuseni. Siphume
is at the church. What is your name?
UNESCO.
UNESCO. Can I pray for you, UNESCO? That's fine. And your baby.
Bosom Buddies was started about 2 years ago, and it was started by myself basically just to meet some essential needs that I could see at the state hospitals. I'm a doula, and I did my training at many hospitals, some state and some private. A doula is a professional childbirth assistant, so we don't do anything medical, but we support moms during labour, and we rub their backs and put them in the bath and walk them up and down, and we just also help the birth partner, because we don't replace the husband or the partner. We're just there to assist and to support and to make the birth experience positive.
How was your labour? That's all right. Not too bad. Very good. It's your first baby?
At a private hospital, a birth is an amazing experience, and at a state hospital, it's just a really different, not so great experience.
For your baby. There's some nappies. Well, you use these nappies, eh?
Private hospital, you get a maternity is like a diaper bag after you've had a baby, and it's filled with all sorts of goodies. And I mean, most of the moms have got their own diaper bag full of their own goodies. At the state hospital, they don't get anything at all, because from a marketing point of view, they're not viable. They're not going to be buying the product, so the companies are not going to give them anything. And of course, this doesn't make sense at all. So we started making maternity bags, and we used to go down once a week on a Thursday and give it to the moms.
Toy for baby. Would you play with something? And there's some clothes for you. Would you like us to dress your baby?
Some of them are very needy. They'll literally walk in with absolutely nothing. And they'll walk out with just their baby, wrapped in a towel or a piece of sheet that the hospital gives them. So at least now they have a little outfit and a little hat and a baby grow, and they're wrapped in a blanket. They've got a nappy on, they've got a few products, so just something to go home in.
This is you bring extra prem packs for the very tiny babies. Like, I'll give this to this mom. How small it is.
Oh,
cute, eh?
amazing.
Yeah, this will not fit UNESCO's baby. I'll give that to this other tiny little girl.
Just the difference, and just trying to equalize things a little bit. And because I think birth is an amazing experience, it should be an amazing experience, and for so many of these moms it's not. You know, they're alone, they're afraid, the staff are overworked, they don't have the time or the patience to explain things or spend time with them, and so they leave the hospital just feeling, it's like it's a negative experience. I want it to be positive, and even if we can't change their birth, they remember us as this lady who came and oohed and ahed over the baby and said, oh, your baby's gorgeous, and chatted to the mom and praying for babies and praying for moms, and then giving them a gift. So when they leave the hospital, it's not all bad. They think, oh, you know, that's quite special.
Okay, my love. Oh, my girl.
We've started to employ 2 ladies to sew, and what we'll eventually do is, when we get new premises, they will teach the moms to sew. So if any mom needs to learn a skill, they'll actually come to our little centre and learn how to sew bags or sew whatever. So we just empower them a little bit further.
I can see you're a good mom.
Yeah, just take care.
Yes, darling, it's your first baby.
And do you find counselling is a big part of what you're doing?
It's not yet, but we would like to get there, which is also why we need new premises. So we want a place basically where they can go and receive counselling, whether it be for postnatal depression or just for the overwhelming feeling of motherhood. And they can just talk and cry and laugh and just to have a voice to say it's all normal, you're doing a great job, you're a wonderful mom, and to talk to other moms. You know, that in our culture it's such a common thing. In theirs it's really not, and it's very isolating.
So don't you want to upset your baby?
I don't want to be with him.
So was your baby born and then an hour later started breathing?
That is just
amazing. This is absolutely amazing. He is a fighter, you know, and
yes, the doctors told me already he's gonna be, because there was so a little oxygen going to his brain. He has serious brain damage. He won't be able to be like normal kids.
go to school or to even do the normal stuff like we do, dress ourselves and
Yeah,
stuff
but
like
you know what? God's a God who restores, and we're not claiming that for His life at all. We're gonna claim complete healing for him. We're gonna pray for you for strength. What is your name?
Candace.
Candace. And does he have a name?
Oh, yes, I called him Regan.
Regan. Okay.
Beautiful name.
Yeah, it is. It's a beautiful name. Let's pray for you, Candace. Father God, I just lift up Candace to you, Lord, and baby Regan, Father God, and Father God, she's had such a rough start to motherhood, Lord, and I just pray for baby Regan. Sometimes they'll say to me, I'm HIV positive, will you pray for me? But in terms of what we do, we don't discriminate between you get extra because you're HIV positive or you don't because you're not, your needs are greater or less. You know, they're just all moms with new babies. Yeah. So, when did you have cesarean? When did you have it? This morning. And you still so fine. Sure. Does he have a name yet? Okay. Is your first baby? How old are you?
16.
16. So young, mommy. Can I pray for you? What is your name?
You really love your work, obviously.
We love our work. We love our mothers. It's just we feel so privileged just to share in their birth. I mean, babies are amazing. And the babies are so sweet. And when we're often there when a mom sees a baby for the very first time, you know, so to share in these things is just divine. And the ladies are just strong and brave and awesome women. They inspire us. They're amazing. You know, you're going to be a mother. The baby in your arms soon. And your mom?
She said work.
Okay. Will she come after work?
I don't know. She don't know.
Doesn't she know about the baby?
That I'm here now.
Okay.
In the hospital.
And are you able to phone her?
My boyfriend has a phone.
Okay. So he'll tell her. Does he know that you're here?
Yes.
Okay, good.
He's outside.
Is he outside? Shame. So he'll probably go home and come back. You must ask him when you're in the labour room if he can be with you there. Will he want to be with you?
Yes.
Oh, he does want to. I'm glad he's with you, eh? Is he excited?
Yes, very excited.
Oh, good. I'm glad you've got his support. That's great. Good luck. I was a stockbroker in Johannesburg, and I was very good at being a stockbroker. I ended up owning my own asset management company, trading about 100 million rand a day, and I never really cared about anybody else on the planet but myself. And then I found myself sitting opposite a specialist, and he told me at first that I had a terminal incurable disease called IgA nephropathy, which meant that the body cells in my body weren't holding on to protein. And as a result of that, my body was possibly cancerous, and after further tests they found cancerous tumors in my bladder and in my prostate, and it had metastasized and was coming out on my skin, and my prognosis was very, very bad. And when it first happened to me, I thought, how could this happen? I was young, I was successful, everything was going according to plan, and I was sick for a long time, and I was in a lot of physical pain. I got to a point where the physical pain was so great that I couldn't even tell where it was coming from in my body anymore. And then I'm not a religious person, but at my lowest point, I really got to a point where I almost wanted to die. And I found myself praying to the universe, and I said if there was anything that I could do to be spared what I was going through, then I would do it. And I had an epiphany. Genuinely, like a lightning bolt moment where I realized that I needed to change my geographic location and my career and my habits and my principles and my values and basically dedicate the rest of my life to serving humanity. And I got up and I immediately began making plans to do that, and it took me a year to disinvest into all the things I was involved in. And that too proved to be a very painful experience. My investors weren't sympathetic to my change of heart or to my physical condition either. But we set our minds to doing it, and we did it. We came down to Cape Town, and we wanted to make a difference. We didn't know where. And we started meeting the most amazing people. amazing people, all working for charity. And what we saw was their suffering. Their organizations lack funding, they're disorganized, and as a result, their personal capacities, they also suffer. They get evicted and they've got no money. And it just seems to be that if you work for charity or if you work for an NGO, then it's not a real job. You know, there's still this strange thing that people look upon charity as being something that's separate to the rest of society. You know, the little old ladies with purple hair who shake tins and you give them money. But really, charities are in the front lines of humanity. They are. Wherever you find an AIDS orphan or a street kid or an abused person or a sick person or a blind or disabled person, chances are you'll find an NGO coping, or trying to cope at least, with the problem.
Children of the earth, listen to our song. Brothers and sisters, come and sing along. We are rising up, we're a new generation. Take each other's hand and sing in celebration.
We were really lucky to have met Peace and Heart of Healing at the beginning of last year, and neither of us had done anything remotely close to what we did last year, and the motto of the year was learning by doing. Heart of Healing took us on and helped us to define who we were and what we were doing, and helped us to register all the logistical side that we had no clue about to register. We've got a beautiful website now that they provided for us. Yeah, it's been an incredible support.
Beautiful smile on the face. Let's all take a deep breath in and breathe out.
There are 3 different components to the project: environment, health, and life skills. And the focus is very much on practical tools and experiential education. So the environmental education, every school we set up an organic garden, and there's a garden club, which the facilitator teaches the kids about the garden, and they do it together, and the food from that goes into the school feeding scheme. Because many of the schools that we're in have feeding schemes to feed as many of the kids in the school as possible. And then we set up recycling. The facilitator does it and teach the children about the concept reduce, reuse, recycle, and other environmental education. And then health and wellness. We teach the children about health and wellness, and then also look at the school tuck shop and make sure that they're not just selling junk food and chocolates, that they're also selling fruit and healthy snacks. So for the children that want to start putting into practice what we're teaching them, that they are able to, because at the moment there's only chips and chocolates and cool drinks for sale. And then the foundation of what the facilitator actually does during school time is they run life skills lessons with the classes. So every class will have a 1-hour session per week with a facilitator, where they'll do a bit of yoga and then a bit of these breathing exercises that you just saw, the Bastrika and the sound meditation. And then we've developed a manual of life skills lessons. So in things like nonviolent communication, healthy body awareness, positive relationships, how to express emotions, the list can just keep on growing of what we can add to that.
There's a quality or a philosophy that Africans have called Ubuntu. I'm not sure if you're familiar with the principle. But Ubuntu it was the underlying philosophy amongst black people for centuries and centuries and centuries. And it's only since the West, they became westernized, that the principle of Ubuntu has been forgotten. But it's based on your happiness is my happiness, and principles, values of caring and nurturing and giving and consideration and respect and all of those things. And you find that in the grassroots areas, in the shacklands. You can find the most impoverished area, but the philosophy of Ubuntu is still very much alive. So I think that will be the one hope that we do have, is our ability as communities to stand together.
Keeping the eyes closed. We're going to do the sound la 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 together. Just feel the sound going into every cell in your body.
Happy birthday, dear Carmen. Happy birthday to you. Down by the river aside, sitting out there and waiting for the long time.
It is almost the starfish principle now, you know, where the story where thousands of starfish washed up and the father said to the little girl, why is she bothering to put the starfish back into the sea? And she said, because it makes a real difference to the one that goes back into the ocean. And that's what we're trying to cope with right now, is to eliminate the suffering, not just on a physical level, because finding food and blankets and clothing is easy, but it's the emotional support, the mental support, the spiritual support. That's the real ticking time bomb, I think.
You said one day you will come back for me, and I will wait until you come back. Kobosha, 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 Wena, Kobosha, Kobosha, Wendombasan, Kobosha.
I love what I do. I love it. I love what I do, and I can't work harder. It is never ending, though, and that can be exhausting. It's difficult to go into an orphanage, see 40 children being housed all day in a shack not much bigger than a caravan, no food, and then to work really hard over a period of months to get them into a place which is reasonable. And as you've accomplished that, there's another 3 more that come up. And that's a great challenge, you know. It's a great challenge. What's happening in the communities a lot is that you find an established AIDS orphanage that has a high profile. So all the funding goes to those organizations, and they've got money they don't know what to do with. They literally can't implement the funds that they have. But in and around those orphanages that are well established, there's lots and lots of just small household orphanages popping up all over the show that have got no funding, and they've got no access to funding, and they don't have any profile to access funds. And that's a problem. You know, that's the real problem. Is there's just so many people in this predicament. The people who are our clients are people who 3-4 years ago were domestic workers. They have no sense of business, of running an organization, but they see children running around on the street and they start feeding them, and before you know it, they have a small little AIDS orphanage with 10 or 15 people, and then the moment the community knows that there's somebody caring for the AIDS orphan, all the mothers who are HIV positive go and assist, but they die. And then they leave their babies in that environment, and that cycle just goes. We've seen AIDS orphanages in 3 years go from 5 or 6 children to 140 children. And even then, that's not, they're just, you know, transition posts. They don't actually live in the orphanage. They're there for 3-4 months, and then hopefully they get placed out into a home-based care environment. But the problem is massive. I don't even think the average South African realizes the extent of the problem, and will only experience it in 5 or 6 or 7 years' time, when the rising of street children gets more and more and more, and crime increases, then we'll begin to experience it. I feel very hopeful. You know, not just for South Africa. It's a beautiful planet, and life is genuinely an incredible miracle, as we all know. But humanity has got some very serious problems, and it's not just an African problem. If you look at the global disease burden, if you look at global warming, if you look at poverty, if you look at unemployment, if you look at all of those things, there just seems to be a separativeness between those that have got and those that haven't got. And those that have got aren't really that concerned with those that haven't got. And that gap needs to be narrowed. But I think there's always been an equal and opposite, you know, there's as much good as what there's bad. So I am hopeful.
Because the greatest love of all is happening to me. I found the greatest love of all inside of me.
Ngqongqotshwane igqirha lendlela ngqongqotshwane igqirha lendlela ngqongqotshwane igqirha lendlela ngqongqotshwane igqirha lendlela Selekabele kritapa ngqongqotshwane Selekabele kritapa ngqongqotshwane Selekabele kritapa ngqongqotshwane Selekabele kritapa ngqongqotshwane.
They say I'm a strong girl.
Yes, yeah.
I must be strong.
Yeah. And you have to be strong for your lovely boy.
Yes. I still want to see my son doing matric and going to university.
Definitely.
I want to see all that things.
Yeah.
And I will if I just keep on believing.
Thank you, everybody. Bye. Bye. This boy's staying on the phone.
Bye, my father.
Bye.